Good morning. It's indeed a matter of great honor for me to the part of Arctic Circle Abu Dhabi Forum as a member of high-level task force of Hindu Kush Himalayan. I am thankful to the forum and providing an opportunity to highlight Pakistan's perspective on water and food security in the changing climate. The Arctic Circle third pole process of bringing together a galaxy of scientists, climate experts, legislators, policymakers from around the world is a timely effort to introduce the Arctic model of the collaboration to the third pole Himalayan region as we are preparing to start our journey towards COP28. Ladies and gentlemen, the climate change is recognized as crisis of our time, the greatest challenge of the 21st century, empirical threat to the mankind. The climate has changed throughout Earth's history, but the accelerated climate change witnessed during the last 1.5 century is mainly attributed to induced global warming activities. Water security will be the seriously challenged and agriculture production systems are likely to be adversely affected. There will be serious threat to the human health and livestock productivity. Hence, the climate change will be the key driver of demographic changes and expansion or weakening of national economies in future. Without drastic and prompt actions, mitigation and adaptation to these impacts in the future will be more difficult and costly. I am afraid that we don't act quickly, the risks of the seeing irreversibly damage will be profound. Therefore, serious efforts at all levels and scales are urgently needed. The Hindu Kush Himalayan is at forefront of climate change and was recognized as a pulse of the planet at COP26. Its climate has changed significantly during the last 5 decades. One third of glacier mass in Hindu Kush Himalayan region is predicted to melt by the end of 21st century, putting food, water, energy, ecosystem, and economic security at high risk. The melting of glaciers carries water security implication for 1.9 billion people living downstream. The mountains, also called the water tower of Asia, has a headwater of Asia, 12 major river system that feed one of the most extensively irrigation food basket of the Asia, providing food, water, energy, and other services to the quarter of the humanity. Himalayan region supports an estimated 3.4 trillion US dollar economy every year with four global biodiversity hotspots, some of the ancient cultures and civilization, and more than 600 living languages is a global asset. Well, I just want to share the Pakistan perspective that the Pakistan is predominantly an agriculture economy where water, food, and energy securities are dependent on transboundary single river system which originates in Himalayan regions. The country's high vulnerability to climate-induced disaster linked to its national security, changing, erratic, and intense weather patterns resulting from climate change make farming and irrigation challenging. Availability of food and stable agriculture infrastructures are toppled by unpredictable weather patterns and extreme variability in the freshwater availability. Disruption in food supply directly impact on the livelihood of the Pakistan's population, of which half depends on the country's agriculture sector. Global Climate Risk Index 21 ranked Pakistan as the eighth most vulnerable country. The country has faced unprecedented climate-induced disaster during a recent past. 2022 monsoon flooding in southern Pakistan proved to be the most devastating disaster. Flood turned the Pakistan faced mountain food crisis, and the monsoon flooding, which UN Secretary General Her Excellency Antonio described it as climate carnage, affecting 33 million people with over 1,600 died and over 12,800 injured. Almost 8 million people were displaced, and there are estimated around 600,000 people living in relief camps. The epic flood also destroyed millions of acres of food crops, over 2 million homes, 3,000 kilometers of the roads, and more than 400 bridges. About 2.6 million hectares of the standing summer crops were adversely affected. The area affected by the floods represented about 35% of the total cropping season. Severe losses are also reported for cotton and rice crops. Regarding livestock sectors, the official estimates show that 1.5 million animals died. Hence, the food insecurity may continue for the next year as well. The World Bank estimates that the national poverty rate could increase about 7%, pushing between 10 to 15% million people into the poverty and intensifying the severity of the poverty of already poor households. The assessment estimates total flood damages and economic are over 30 billion US dollar. Well, the COP27 ended with the breakthrough agreement to provide loss and damage funding for vulnerable countries hit hard by climate disasters. We are looking forward to working with the international and national organizations to harness this opportunity to tackle the increasing climate induced threats. I am sure that this forum will provide a useful platform to engage all stakeholders to benefit and starving the communities, and I believe that the experience and the learnings from the Arctic process will be relevant and helpful to address, if not all the challenges that Himalayan region is facing because of the climate change and its impact on mountain system, environment, and people. I would like to thank Arctic Circle for providing this opportunity to the part of this important event. Thank you very much.